Hi there. Welcome to Being Your Way. I hope you're doing well. For today's episode, I wanted to emphasize on why I talk so much about spirituality, finding your center, meditation, creating from a place of joy or inner wanting, or living through your soul, all of that because I have experienced life without this aspect. And I know very well how bad it gets when you aren't centered or creating something of your own. And we only realize it when the suffering gets so bad that we literally just fall off the track. So, for me, in any phase of my life when I have neglected my spirituality, my inner growth, or just replicating that in on my physical plane or taking action towards building something myself, I have seen the worst version of myself. And I am afraid to go back to it, to go back to being that person who always felt agitated, in doubt. I don't deny that I feel those moments even today, but it has drastically reduced in comparison. And I can only give all of that credit to my journey of self discovery and wanting to grow in that aspect. So, just to give you a brief of what my life looked like without all of this magic, let me take you back to my neat prep days and also times when I wasn't as consistent with my spiritual journey as I wanted to be, and the adverse effects that come along with it. So, yeah, coming to my neat prep days, I remember being in a total, like in a space of complete lack of awareness is what I can define it as. Like there was no intention or motive to anything that I did. It was all too vague and doing things for the sake of it, living for the sake of it, like having no active part in my own life whatsoever. Like I was when people called the main character moment and like living your life vicariously, I was living exactly opposite of that. I was just like a side character of my life. And it had gotten so bad that I stopped bothering about anything and everything till the point that my life came crashing down. Like I gave up when I did not score well in my first test series at itself while I was preparing for my exams. And hats off to anyone who prepares for entrance exams, that it has left such a bad phobia in me regarding studying. And I was someone who really loved studying. Till my school, I genuinely loved going to my classes and attending and learning something new and being a part of such beautiful stories like The Last Leaf. And I loved literature. I loved history. I loved the way my teachers taught it to me. There was so much of sense of wonder and excitement. I loved going to the little school trips. It was all filled with like so much of joy and willingness to learn new things. And I am accounting for the fact that as a kid, everything is new and you are exposed to all of this knowledge for the first time. So it does sound exciting. But I feel when you enter the rat race of entrance exams, you are still learning something new every single day, but the way it is taught to you and the narrative that is constantly pushed is that there are these many seats, there are these many books that you need to gulp down your system, and this is what you are expected to do. And now your life is devoid of any sort of wonder and willingness to learn in the first place because the goalposts have been shifted tremendously. So, yeah, I lacked awareness and intention majorly during that phase of my life, and then followed a series of anxiousness, panic attacks, confusion, not knowing if I would be able to amount to anything in my life. And there was a point where I felt like I can never be a good daughter, a good friend, a good anything. So it wasn't just limited to my career, but also who I was as a person and how I dealt with people around me. So it took a major, major hit on my self-esteem. And I don't think any teenager or someone in their early 20s should have to go through all of those experiences. And I know it is far too common as an Indian student. And as much as things are changing now, I still don't think people get enough career counseling and support in the sense that there's so much that they can do, and college might not be the best decision for them, but there are ways to make something out of themselves. So, yeah, lack of awareness and intention during the early days. Then I'd like to reflect upon my job days when I was constantly annoyed because I felt like this was it and this should have made up for everything that I have been through till this point. Like, I have established that I'm not a worthless person, that I can bring money on the table, that I can provide for myself. So, this should have been it and should have solved most of my problems, but it didn't. And my frustration only grew stronger because I kept feeling helpless every passing day. And worst of all, it was affecting the relationships that I held close to my heart. Like, I remember I would lose my temper left, right, and center with my mom. I had distanced myself with all of my friends. I just did not know what to do, and I just wanted to be left alone for the most part. And yeah, in general, it was just a very shitty experience filled with a lot of annoyance and frustration about how should I lead myself and my life now. Whereas currently, and I genuinely don't like can't believe that I am saying this, but I have been able to collect myself and feel confident in the face of uncertainties. And all of that credit goes to my spiritual journey and committing to a personal project that means a lot to me. Because previously I only kept looking for things on the outside. I expected a lot from people. I expected a lot from the society. I expected a lot from educational institutions, everything on the outside. And then I blamed it all on them when it caused anger and frustration within me. Whereas the one thing that I was missing out on was my connection with myself and with God. And there has been a lot of hit and trial. No, what is that? What is the term? Hit and misses, and I forgot the other one, but I think you get it. Even in my spiritual journey, which I would like to highlight in this particular episode, I don't remember when I got knee deep into the whole thing, but I do remember this one particular day when I wrote it down on my chit, on a chit that I want to be financially stable by the end of the third year of my college. I don't know why. I wanted to humor myself and do that for some reason. Oh, yeah, yeah, no, I remember the reason now. So I had this huge fight with my parents about wanting to drop out of college because I hated every minute of it. And I just felt like it was too much for me, like the hours and the exams, all of it. I did not think I could take it anymore. But I did graduate with more than the marks that I expected. So there's that. Everything was okay. But yeah, I did freak out my parents for a moment there in my third year. And my dad was just like, okay, what are you gonna do? And I loved English at the time. I was into writing. So I was just like, I'll do English literature. And my dad was like, yeah, sure. You are not going to get any jobs in that. Show me how are you going to get a job and are you going to be a teacher or what? And I had no answer to that. And so dad won the argument. But yeah, that day I decided that I am going to make money through writing. I don't know how, I don't know when, but yeah, we'll see. So I was very new to writing on LinkedIn at that point, and I just as a way of putting it out to the universe, just wrote it down on my chart and kept it aside. I do not believe in manifestation as such. I don't think I am a huge proponent of it even now. I feel like manifestation is just like karma adding up over time. So it's a fancy way of saying that working for something will show up in your life. It's just that you have the intention set in your mind. So I feel it is basically just good focus, discipline, hard work, everything that everyone has ever said with the right intention that, yeah, comes into your life. But it's like a good reminder that whatever you think of and every action that you take that is within your control, just do your part well. If you have an intention and you do your part well, you don't know what opportunity or in what way will universe line things up for you. So what happened was exactly at the end of my third year, I got a job offer. Like, there was this job opening. I had to go through a series of assignment interviews, etc., etc. And I got selected at the end. And this was at a really good company. So I did not believe my eyes in the first place. Like, as a beginner, how did I get into it in the first place? And after a while, I discovered my chit and I saw that, okay, this is something that I'd already written and forgotten about. And it happened exactly at the time that I had written. But it wasn't like I left everything on fate. It was me taking action towards it. So I do acknowledge that all of it is true because it has happened with me. But I also know for a fact that it was my clear intention and my will and my action to make it happen that everything turned out to be exactly how I had written it down. So, yeah, that was like my first spiritual experience as such. Then I used to write, and I still write a lot in my diary. And there's this another screenshot that I came across wherein I had written all the courses or things I wanted to have in my life at some point. And those were the things. So I had written these things at the first year of my college, start of the first year of my college, wherein I had no money and no means to afford the things that I had written down. And I was just scrolling through my phone and I saw those 5 to 6 things that I'd written. So there's this one freelancing course, there was this writing related course, there were a couple more things written down, and I had all of it in my life. And I again had that very shocking moment of, okay, this is freaky, but also exciting that whatever I write down with a genuine intention and wanting to have it in my life, forget about it and go on with my life, but keep taking action, just shows up in my life. So I also had one other experience wherein I had written the exact qualities that I would want to have in my friends when college reopens, or whenever I join college, because I did not want to be friends with anyone and everyone. And yeah, I really wanted to be around people who have qualities that I would want to have in my life, which were related to curiosity, to risk taking, and yeah, all of those fun stuff. And I kid you not, I made only 3 friends, 3 to 4 friends during my college life. And all three of them were exactly the way I had described in my notes. So, yeah, these 3 incidents really made me rethink about the impact of your thoughts, your emotions, and the actions that you take. So, once I realized that I can control my life, I can practically just think about something, work upon it, and in some time I have it in my life. So why am I not doing this already? Why isn't anyone teaching this in schools, and why isn't this like compulsory part of a college curriculum? So yeah, that was like a seed implanted in me, and I only kept going deeper into all of it and grew fonder with the subject. I loved discovering so many new things about metaphysics and spirituality in general. I took up Sadhguru's course. I took up, I think, most of the spirituality and meditation related courses that are out there. I just haven't tried out Art of Living, but yeah, I did try my hands on a bunch of things until I came to Autobiography of a Yogi. And that book, that man, the first time I read Paramahansa Yogananda's teachings, I literally felt like someone had listed every single one of my problems to the T. Like this person has scanned every single thing that affects me, makes me anxious, every question that has kept me awake at night, everything that I battle with, described it just as I feel, and given a very simple solution to follow it along. Like, find a way to overcome it. And it blew my mind. I could not believe that I had been sleeping on this resource for the longest time. Like, I had heard about Autobiography of a Yogi, but never gave it a chance because I thought it would be too heavy for someone like me, and maybe it's not the right time. So, yeah, it took me a while to get to his teachings, but when I did, I didn't read the book fully because that is more of like his life story, and I couldn't keep up with that. But it was the parts that I read, and the articles that I read, the other books that he has written, I loved it. I was a total fan the moment I got my hands on it. So I decided I'll take up the course by Yogoda Satsang Society, which was founded by Paramahansa Yogananda, also known as the Self Realization Fellowship, which helps you to find your highest potential and the right way of God communion and the simplest techniques to get there, everything scientific, nothing that is dogma or something you just need to believe in. One thing that I love about Paramahansa Yogananda's teachings is that as a kid, he always had a lot of questions and he wanted to know the truth so bad that every time someone gave him an explanation to a question, he was never satisfied. So he made it a point that he directly communicates to God and asks those questions to him. And that's how he went on spreading all the beautiful teachings of yoga and meditation all across the world. So, yeah, and he never forces his opinions on you. He's just like, try it out for yourself and see what it does for you. And when I tried out his techniques and meditations, I literally cried my heart out because I knew that I had my answer and I had something to cling on to now, which gives me the sense of comfort and serves as the answer that I have been struggling to find for so long. So, yeah, I think everyone goes through like this journey of finding the right master for them, and you might need to try many different disciplines and techniques. And I don't know what will be the right one for you, but I definitely know that you will get a feeling out of it when you do it. And the only reason I recommend Paramahansa Yogananda is that out of every technique that I've tried, his technique is the only one that feels like least effort but high reward to me. Like he only demands 5 to 10 minutes as a beginner, And those 5 to 10 minutes would be enough for you to experience something so life changing that you would want to make more time and take it up to 1 to 2 hours a day. I haven't been able to reach that. I can only do 30 minutes in the morning and in the evening, but that is like the least amount that you should be doing. But even then, as a beginner, if you're able to do 5 minutes a day consistently, morning and evening, that is good as well. That's a good start. You can build upon it later. But yeah, it was literally just as simple as chanting a mantra mentally and bringing all your focus and concentration in one place so that there comes a point where you don't identify with your breath. Like your breath comes to a natural, I wouldn't say stop, but yeah, it definitely slows down. And that's when you feel like a higher level of peace. And it is said that God communicates with you in silence. And those moments of peace are truly important in order for you to really connect with your spirit. So, yeah, ever since I was introduced to his teachings, I could see a major shift in the way I would conduct myself, my relationships, and my life in general. And the days when I don't commit to my spiritual journey, I can see myself turning into the person that I was in the past. And I cannot afford that. So, meditation for me, my spirituality for me is literally like oxygen. And that's the reason why I keep talking about it so much because I can't wait for people to have that experience in their own lives and experience. What's a synonym for experience? I did not want to use the same word again. Really need to work on my vocabulary, but anyway, I would love for people to witness that. And while they do that, while they really hone their inner brilliance, I would love to see what they do with it in the real world. And that excites me a lot. So, yeah, if at all you have been like the person that I was, this frustrated, angry, and agitated human, I strongly suggest trying out Paramahansa Yogananda's teachings and techniques because it's genuinely the simplest and impactful techniques that I've ever come across. And I hope it brings you the same level of peace, confidence, and stability that it has brought in my life. And yeah, that's it for today. If you made this far, thank you so much for listening. And I'll see you in the next